my guess. We'll see though.
Fuck.
This last boss is not very hard. Key do I have actually? ZB is this? Your key, sir. Spy got it, your key.
G'day, mate.
Yeah, yo, what's bull? Oh my god, I said yo, what's bull? What the fuck does that mean?
You have got to be frickin' kidding me.
How are you, bull? This is this week's featured streamer, always Carter. Also, don't forget to follow Hatsu. I am pro. I am pro. Boom, boom. Hope someone remembered the heroism. That's good. Nice job, guys. Some damage. Damn, look at this team. Melted them. You get a shot off a Bulgarian? Well, how was your morning going? Damn it. You need a shot off a Bulgarian. Thank god I took a poison dispel. Oh my god. Blue arrows. Oh, Carter. Cody, I don't know what killed you. I think it was a ghost. Sorry. Morning is good. Didn't sleep too long. Stayed up kind of late. What was going on last night? Just partying? I was in the city last night. Getting drinks, so I'm a little bit hungover. I was meeting an old friend. Isroth is accusing me of having met a hooker, but that's not true. I was meeting a friend. A ghost isn't Adam? No, it's what do you call it? It's what is it? Vengeful? What's the name of the fix? I'm trying to think of the name. Oh, Carter, Jesus. Jeezy Pete. Hate this poison, and I can't remove it except for the stupid totem. Yeah, Adam, I think it's the Ghost Week. I'm just forgetting the name of it. Vengeful or something? Something like that. Wife fell asleep, so I snuck away to PC to play some more of the finals. What's the finals? Oh, Spiteful. Thank you, kitty. Thank you. Thank you, Adam. We're doing viewer keys, guys. Don't forget to follow. If you need help with the key. That is the content. Oh, big bull, big bull. While I'm healing you. I've never heard of it. Need to farm 17 plus rounds for my boots. Adam, come over. We're on Twitch. Just type pro. We're doing viewer keys. Which name is Provos? Stupid tree is here. I hate that tree. Oh no. Just die. Just die. Oh my god, why? Gutty, what the fuck? Why, Gutty? I don't want to deal with this guy. I'm just gonna fucking die. Nice, dude. See you soon. Probably. Probably will. Why, Gutty, why did you do it? Why did you do it? I hate this dude. Fucking hate him. Alright. I'm ready, Carter. Go for it. I was so defeated when that guy got pulled. I was gonna go to my cousin's house, but I gotta go to work tomorrow, so I don't wanna drink and my son's not feeling well. Damn, nice grip, dude. Nice grip. Nice stun. Yo, Samuel, thank you for the follow. How are you? What's going on, dude? Keywords trophy looking for a viewer key? I forgot what I wanted to add. Okay, shadow. Nice grip. Yo, thank you for the follow. How are you, Jordan? Adam, I do a night, one day during the week I'll usually do a night stream. It's just because I work, so it's like, it's hard to do too many night streams. Yo, what's up, Samuel? Yeah, this is a microwave, 100%. This is a microwave from Japan, when I studied abroad. Carter, I'm gonna help you. I'm helping. I'm helping Carter. I'm helping. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Look at me helping Carter. We can grab the mouse, I think. Yo, Asset, what's up? How are you? I'm like a pretty big helper.
Holy crap!
You guys lurking over at the follow? We're doing viewer keys. Yes, Crystabella. Crystabella and Hydrax. And Hydrax was rated by Fiamma, I think. Pretty big day, actually. Thanks to Fiamma, Hydrax, and Crystabella. Make sure you follow them all. Adam, thank you for the follow. Appreciate the support. What's up, BCAN? Thank you for the follow. Keywords Pro. Welcome over, man. Crystabella is preparing soon to try to get her partner push going. Pretty exciting stuff. Thank you, dude. We're just chilling. Hey, what do I have to do for playing with you? Jesus, just go to Twitch and type pro. My Twitch name's Provos. That's the way to enter the viewer key bot. Just type pro in Twitch. We got a viewer key bot that rotates winners, basically. Where's Arch today? I haven't seen him at all. Keep meaning to get back into WoW. It's still fun. Jesus, did that make sense? If you have any questions, just let me know. With a name like Jesus, you can ask me any question you want, dude. Oof. My heart tightened for a second. I don't think the Lord liked that joke. Well, move on to the next bit. It's not hard to get back into it now. I think stuff is pretty reasonable in terms of catch-up gear and stuff like that. I mean, just my opinion, but I think it's not too bad to catch up now. Oh, your internet's bad? Yeah, that can make it a little bit tough. I mean, you could probably still solo play though. Guys, if you're new to the stream, just type pro. That's the viewer key command. Just type pro. We are on a partner plus push. If anybody can spare a tier 1, we're going to do a giveaway after this key to help support the partner plus push. Yeah, what's up, Blue? How are you? Good morning. Good song also. Easy. Carter, I think you're doing better after that injury. You're pulling 250k overall, dude. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate that. Basically, Twitch will give us like 60% revenue if we get 100 tier 1 sub points, so it's pretty awesome. If you can make it, I should say. Yo, Adam, thank you for the follow. Sparing guys are so lame. Oof. Yo, I'm sorry, what killed you? Is that a ghost? Sorry guys, I'm falling behind on healing here, my bad. Adam, the big difficulty I see with warriors now is people are upset that they can't help with the fixes. It's like the movie where the kid hurts his arm and then can throw a baseball super fast and makes it into the majors. Carter injured his ribs and now he's even better than before. I saw that movie. I know exactly what you're talking about, Bull. That's how I know we're the same age. I saw that movie, Bull. That kid could throw really fast all of a sudden. And at the end of the movie, he lost the ability to throw. Suddenly. I can't remember the name of that movie though, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't got it installed, I usually use Kick. Oh. Warcraft doesn't do very well on Kick, unfortunately. Oh, the Rookie. Thank you, Dwell. Who loved the Rocketeer as a kid? Anybody? Chuck Speedman, you're a bum. If I talent move, I can keep him stunned for a tiny bit. The ghosts? Oh yeah. I mean, it's really more for the other two. The one where you get the haste debuff or like the damage debuff. I'm gonna grab some mana real quick while we're chilling. Kick is a lot of just chatting, but if you can get the following, oh yeah. I mean, I just can't get the following. Just Warcraft is not popular over there for whatever reason. One day, maybe. Well, how do you like my healing this season? You think I've improved as a healer? I don't think you like my healing very much in Shadowlands. What did you used to call me? Cancer growth? Sewer lead? I thought sewer lead was very mean. I feel like I've come into my stride on healing. Dr. Phil's wife, holy shit. How are you, Mrs. Phil? I have to say I'm not a very big Dr. Phil fan. Until Kick can give in-game rewards like Twitch for WoW will never happen and promote loot. For me, I would restream to Kick, but they don't support like my stream screen size for some reason. I don't know why. Like they only support a certain. I think it's used more as a social platform than actually gaming. I would restream to it if I could, Adam, but it doesn't support my. Is it your resolution? Is that the right way to put it? I think it's my resolution. Bull, we have a new emote as well. I don't know if you're a Carl fan, but we have a new emote. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I think, no, I think Axe, it's something about the size of your screen that they can't handle, for whatever reason. Work for you. I'm actually going to turn on boss music for this boss because it sucks ass. So guys, I'm going to pause the song, I like it, but we're going to turn on boss music for this boss. Because he's the worst fucking boss. Always playing the same song. Is it not set on, oh it's not set on shuffle, that's why. Okay, there we go. We did EB18 yesterday. Just give me a second to catch up on chat, guys. Sorry. This is Mariah Carey, if you guys are Mariah Carey fans. Yeah, what's up, Abby? Can't reach you, Gutty. Morning.
3, 2, 1.
Give me a second, I'll catch up on chat in just a sec.
2, 1.
It's stupid difficult to use IVS streams to stream for whatever reason. We did EB18 plus yesterday, I only had one death and it wasn't me. Like I've had it work with no issues and then try again, it doesn't work at all. Yeah, definitely.
3, 2,
Samuel, what is your
1.
horror in reference to? Sorry. Just trying to heal these guys. Yeah, this fight sucks. Honestly.
3, 2, 1.
Nice job, guys. Easy boss, Jesus, we smoked it. Nice job, team. Abby, I hope you're having a good morning. Yeah, X, there's something wrong with my, Yeah. Man, that boss did not take very long. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Trav, I think my rating is 2850 around, I want to say. Somewhere around there. I don't do a ton of push keys. Mostly doing viewer keys, so I don't really have a push key net or anything like that. Yeah, I felt almost nerfed this week. Why'd you say that, Jay? Out of curiosity, how are you getting away with the music? Anytime I try to play mainstream media. Really? I don't know. I never get anything flagged, Adam. I don't know. Honestly, maybe I'm too small. Maybe I'm nobody. I don't know. I don't have a lot of followers, so maybe I'm not on their radar. I've never gotten flagged. They flagged me for hate speech because I was talking about someone crying. That was weird. But yeah, I don't know. I never get flagged. Yeah, what's up, Joshua? How are you? These assistants are attacking me. We're doing viewer keys, guys. If you're interested, just type pro. Don't forget to follow. Also, not having extra health makes it go slow. Oh, yeah. Some DPS is just better on Tyrannical week. You know, focus, single target. Not everybody, but some. My wife woke up yesterday and she was like, "What are you making a speech? Could you lower it? Could you shut up?" Love your community keys. Hey, thanks, man. It's just hard to do higher keys with the community. Not everybody, you know, some people want to gear their alts. Just depends on the winner. That makes sense. I'm gonna drink real quick. Let's turn the boss music on again. Ooh, This boss is a joke. He's a joke, guys. Absolute joke. I guess on higher keys this might be the harder boss. I doubt it though. He just doesn't do enough. I started in Vanilla and Wrath was my favorite expansion, but still can't get into Classic. I mean, some people have played it once and they can't play it again. Part of enjoying it was enjoying it once. Everybody's different. I never worry. I mean, not that you worry about it, but you know. People are just different. If that makes sense. Yo, J-Flash, thank you for sharing the live. How are you? Good morning. Oh, I should be doing something here. I'm just standing like an idiot. Thank you for sharing the live. Thanks, man. This is a pretty chill boss, though, to be honest. Tyrannical week, you really see what somebody's made of. I'm doing okay, though. It's just kind of a chill key. We're just chilling. Carter doesn't need much healing at all. Yo, what's up, Stu? How are you? Alright, we're gonna give away the gift sub next. Easy, boss. Nice job, team. Easy 2 chests. Good job, everybody. Nice job, nice job. Oh, the branch. Oh, I like this song. This one goes out to Hydrax. You believe in superstitions. Yeah, it's nice stuff, guys. Somebody don't make them love you. Alright guys, let's get the next one going. Keywords Pro if you want a viewer key. If you're lurking, don't forget to follow. Spy God, I'm gonna drop you for the next one. Does anybody need the staff, actually? Anyone need staff? Anyone need staff? Wasn't worth never having you. Alright, I guess not. Thanks for coming, Spy God. Thank you for tanking Carter. Thank you for the big DPS. Can we get a shout out for Carter? Well, got you nice damage. Let's get the next one going. Thanks for coming, dude. Alright guys, let's get the gift sub going. Hold on a second.